So I'm going to review 6299, which is this Premium Panther D. I've previously reviewed the A and talked a lot about the lineage of these premiums and what's different. I'll just gloss over it with this one real quick. This is a retrofit of 6164. So it's where that one had molded on swing arms, this one does not. Where that one had tracks and a sprue, this has magic tracks. We got some metal bits in here. It's an upgraded 2002 kit with, better stuff in it. And they're still re-releasing this recently, or they reissued something. They made some more without the goodies in it. They still call it the same kit number and the same kit. So you will see some grumblings about that if you look around hard enough online. So yeah, there's a rich history of Panthers, but I'm not going to do that every time I review one. So this was 6164, it is now 6299. Upgraded suspension, tracks, and barrel. Marking options for me, Panther D spells Kursk, and that's what my plan is for this guy. There's quite a few there. There's the large etch sheet, which I'm pretty sure is exactly the same as in the A kit. Number of markings. So here it's showing you all of their goodie stuff. Metal barrel, metal shirts and metal grills, metal smoke launchers, apparently the launchers themselves and the brackets. So this part, this bit, there's like it's shaped like that, and then also this weird triangular thing, and then these three things. They all look like they're brass. These I can't tell what they're made out of. There's a chain for the pistol port, etch clamps, bane of my existence. Metal hooks for towing. And what they're showing you, and it does look a bit sparse for a Dragon thing, is everything that is different. Everything that's not on here is from that 02 kit. Apart from stuff that's on this side. Which, this is a nice upgrade. And then you've got brass for the travel lock. And there it's saying, hey, we've got not molded iron on swing arms. So the instructions are, as with the Panther A Premiums and a lot of the old Big Cat kits, KTs and Panthers in color. The gold is what we won't be using, apparently. Instead of blue, hey, why not? Oy. Oh, the colors. Oh, the colors. So you can tell just by looking at this stuff that it is older stuff, because, it's just simple looking. It just looks like pictures of an old kit. And a lot of times it is. You'll see this part is their old kit, except for this, obviously. Although it doesn't show the torsion parts going on, so maybe that is from the old instructions. And then they'll have their black and white style drawings where it's new. So, very simple. Sprockets, wheels, idler. Your final drive housings. Here's your wheels. Don't put them on unless you're crazy. Now here is metal parts being called out. Let's see, more stuff there. The rear panel looks pretty simple. You've got brass for this though, which is intimidating. Bending things annoys me. So here you go. There's an exploded drawing for more etch being called for, which looks like the jack mount, I think. Yeah. So there's the jack. Yeah, so you've got etch piece, etch piece, etch piece, etch piece. Lots of little bits. So this thing that goes round and then straight, and then a little piece that clamps onto it will look very fancy when it's done. There's the stowage bins. I do like that they do them that way. More brass that goes on top of them, though. A piece there, two pieces there, two more pieces there, another piece there. Good lord. Here's what looks like an added on, like the 7-piece MG, because the old one I'm assuming just had the barrel. pretty standard. Here, just little hole bits going on. The travel lock, which is a sub-assembly here, which you can use a plastic piece or numerous photo etch pieces for. You can have it open or closed. The sponson getting glued on. Here's a diagram of tool clamps. So there's the spare track hangers in etch. And here's the barrel cleaning rod tube with a ton of PE getting put on it as well to dress it up. This is the old option for the tool rack. This is the photo etch fancier version. These couldn't look more different if they tried. Here down here is the other one, and then they're obviously getting put on the upper hull. This is very nice, this multi-part assembly for that little vent. The cupola is apparently made out of sort of a stack of pieces. There's your smoke launchers or grenade launchers. No, I'm going to go with smoke. The turret is a mixture of sort of old and new stuff as well. This just looks a bit dated, but this stuff obviously doesn't. Step 24 already. This has specific tracks to go around. Yep, to go around the sprocket. Separate guide horns. So it fits. Here's your option of a two-piece barrel or a brass one. Now I'm assuming that in the newer version of the kit that doesn't come with metal, this comes with a styrene barrel. I'm not positive. A styrene one piece, pardon me. There's the Schertzen, very cool looking in scale thickness. And our marking options. Kursk 43. When I do this thing, it's going to be two-tone Kursk for sure. But there's a lot of them in there. Look at me. So in the box. Got an older style Dragon card. First thing I will look at is early Panther tracks of the Magic Track variety. No ice cleats, just a little indents in there, similar to early Tiger tracks. Open guide horn, these are plenty good for me. They're not handed, however, which they should be, which I've mentioned before. So I will be probably using those instead, but I don't have a problem with Dragon's Panther Magic Tracks. Here we have the left and right side Schertzen. I'm not sure why they're divided that way, if there's a difference in them. There's the standard Premium Panther PE sheet. At least I think it's identical. I'm not going to open up my A right now, but it looks an awful lot like the one in the A. And then we've got periscopes and turret bits here in clear, and all the markings. Surprising large amount of numbers and not that many Falcon credits. Nice to see a big Dragon card, though. Also, is this. So this is the subject of people's annoyance when it's not there. They pay whatever for this kit, and then it ends up these aren't in there. So here we have the actual smoke launchers there. These look like width indicators. There's the barrel, the tow hooks, and then the chain for the pistol port. Very cool. The plastic, there's two thoughts I have. One, there's not that much because it's an older kit, but two, it is not identical, or at least not as much to that the Panther A as I'm suspecting. Some odd sprues in here. Now, firstly, let's have a look. See at that guy right there. Some warp, huh? Holy cow! And you can see how warped that is. That is not good. Hopefully, the hull isn't too bad. I might have to cut him off of there before I put him back in the box. I do not like that. And it's warped all over. Like, check that out. That's fantastic. Warped sprue bits doesn't always mean that the hull parts are warped. The hull looks straight-ish. So there's the upper hull. I'm not sure how much upgrading had been done to it before they put it into the Premium. Normally they retool these and tighten them up a little bit. It looks okay. It looks this chart does look identical to the one in the A kit though. And it is listed as Panther DA. There's the hull extensions, the storage bins, storage, whatever. The lower part of the upper hull, the final drives, the bottom of the turret, the rear plate, which looks awfully blank. It's got a tiny amount of texture on it, not too much. And there's some raised marking points, which I do not like. Some of these parts might not be used. These could be older bits, which would mean there are spares in case I mess up one of the newer bits, but man, that is some bowed plastic right there. Also in that bag is this guy, which doesn't look as warped. These are your sponsons, which don't need to look like a whole lot, since you'll never see them, but they do have the front fenders attached to them, which look pretty good. There's the hatches, the engine cover, the older style tools with clamps that don't have anything, they're just little nubs. So a lot of this is outdated. The racks are probably still used, the barrel cleaning rod tube is, I'm sure, still used. So the molding on here is not exactly awe-inspiring. Next bag, we had this guy, another DA sprue, kind of a dated one. There's the actual glacis of the D with the letterbox machine gun port, pardon me. Again, sort of dated tooling. Still clean, not flashy, but just not quite as sort of crisp and tiny as the newer stuff I'm used to. I have no doubt that this thing will be beautiful when it's put together. I can just, it's weird how you can tell just by touching the plastic how old it is. It's got a different feel to it, it's got a different surface to it. So. Also in that bag were duplicate sprues of the old style Panther DA, whatever you want to call this guy. Lots of important stuff. So, drive sprocket, idler, the two-piece barrel. Why couldn't this one be bent? There's the styrene option for the spare track hangers, which is still... Actually, it's about exactly on par with what Tamiya has on their Gs. I don't know what their new D has, though. There's the two types of vent for the back, the vortex and the straight. The hangers for the Scherzen, the exhaust pipe. It all looks good, not warped, because now I'm on the lookout for that. And fine. Just similar to things like their Yog Tiger and KT kits, where it's just a bit dated. Crap. That's bent something. That's always awesome. Next bag had this stuff. The piece I bent was this little dude right here. Again, from the older tooling, here's the multi-stack parts for the cupola. Another barrel cleaning rod tube. Parts of the mantlet. These look like styrene smoke launchers, which I love having these with the little notch cut in them. In case I build Tamiya Tigers, because theirs are just circles, or cylinders, they don't have the notch cut in. There's a mantlet, binocular sight with rain cover. As it's an earlier Panther, it would have binocular sights. The top of the Panther D's turret is the most different part about it. Unfortunately, a lot of that detail just glues on. There's a port over on this side that you don't get on any other Panther turrets. I think that might go here. Again, this all looks okay, a little warped. But compared to stuff we're getting nowadays with the Panther G series, it's just a little bit simplified. Also in that bag, this is where the kit got a lot different than the A Premium. The A Premium has a lot of parts from the G series and just marked not for use. This one just has all these like weird little sprues that I'm not familiar with. These look new because that looks a little cleaner than I'm used to seeing. Some MG parts, some bump stops, and the swing arms. We've got 2 of those. They look very good. That's the idler arm right there. So that's different than the A. We also have these 2 little guys, which are just the 8 tracks that go around the drive sprocket. Sorry, that messes with stuff. They're the right type. There are some ejector pin marks on there. Right there, quite a few of them actually. But very, very cleanly molded. This is sort of the current generation of molding, whereas the other stuff was not. It's only a few years behind, but it is noticeably different. And then another difference, and I think this is what, maybe this is where that A had all of the Panther G series sprues, but I think the wheels were for use, but the torsion bars, swing arms weren't. This just has these odd little Panther D wheel sprues, which, upon further inspection, used to be part of something else. You can tell they just clipped it off of something else. But there's 4 of these guys. There's no words in the rubber. I don't know if it should be on a Panther or not. Offhand, I can't. I know Tigers did, so I would assume they did. These look okay. But these look in the older style. But there's 4 of them. They look pretty good. Then you have this, which is a muzzle brake and some tools without clamps. As Panzermeister would say, for close defense. I really like that idea for whatever reason. The last bag had a better jack than on the original sprue, which I thought it would. Not amazing though. It's not like the 7-part one. Oh, hello. That thing is barely hanging on to life, so I'm just going to leave that alone. That's a 4-part jack. Not what I'm used to seeing. And then this is the ever-present MG34 with bipod sprue. Looks the same as it ever does. Also in there is the lower hull for the Panther AD, which was quite retooled for these 2 kits, the A and the D. Very sturdy, very straight. A lot of clean detail there. And some surface texture. You can see it in the specular highlight that it does have a little bit of rolled steel look to it. So overall, the Panther D Premium. Let's see. A lot of the parts are still dated, which annoys me, which is actually the same kind of situation we have with like the premium Nashorn and stuff like that. Like, I don't know how I feel about older kits with metal parts versus newer smart kit. I prefer like the newer tooled smart kit style, I think, to these, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. I've seen it build up amazingly well. I picked this up on eBay for $50, I believe 50 with these. So that was pretty sweet, right? So the new Tamiya one is going for pretty cheap, you know, 30, 40 bucks, but without any of the upgrade sets. And then with this, you do get hollow guide horns and a metal barrel and etch grills, all for, I don't know what it's going for now. Now it's a land or a minefield because you're never sure if you're getting this one or the like not as good version. If you can see in the box and you know that it has the parts you want in it, and you can get this for like 40, I think it's still okay. But I might lean more towards that newer Tamiya one depending on how cheaply you can get those upgrade sets. But this is very cool.